Hello, it's the 3rd of November 2016. We had a bit of a frost last night. I think that's the end of the courgettes, finally. They're looking rather wilted. It does really well. Just one courgette plant keeps you going the whole summer. It's astonishing. So today we're going to look at the weeds. This is how much of the new allotment we've covered with mulch. It's a bit hard work getting lots of cardboard. It's just a little bit at a time, unless you get a whole trolley load, and then they're all little tiny bits. And something, either the foxes or birds, seems to pull up the little bits out of the mulch. So Chris is laying a little bit more cardboard and mulch there. And then we've got this amount of grass to do something with. It's quite a lot, really. This area, though, we're going to leave to grass. We're going to have a little lawn so we can trim it and it'll be somewhere to sit. And beyond that is the fruit tree area where we're going to transplant some fruit bushes and stuff and probably put bark down. And then at the back, of course, we've got to hack out all those brambles and things and clear away the heaps of mud. We're supposed to have had a delivery of manure. It hasn't come. We'll have to talk to the allotment office. We were going to cardboard all the way up here, but I'm pretty sure that once we've dug up all these things here, the chard and the nettles, it'll be okay to just put the mulch on top of that, because otherwise it's going to take forever with this cardboard. I took 2 heads of broccoli, and there's one last one that I didn't notice before, and then that's it. We're going to take all these up as well. And there's more weeds here. The strawberry bed, of course. Actually, the weeds have died down a bit. You can see nothing but strawberries there. That's not too bad. This area where the potatoes were, it was dug over. There are some quite hard clods because we've had so little rain. We started to put some cardboard and mulch here. I think we don't need to bother with the cardboard because there's not much to see. I'm going to put some of the compost from the compost bins and then cover it with the mushroom compost. And then there's only this little bit to dig up. This is my tip for the day concerning weeds. Look for them. The number one step is to actually see the weeds, because if you don't see them, if you don't go to your allotment and say, oh my God, there's another weed, I must get that out right now, then they accumulate behind your back. See, there's a nice crop of something coming up here, but this is where I put in the row of garlic. There's the stake at the beginning, so under there is garlic. So if I cover this too much with mulch, it'll probably smother the garlic, I don't know. And again, my overwintering broad beans have got a beautiful crop of little seedlings coming up around them. It was a logistical problem, really, because we hadn't got the compost to put on it at the time when I planted those things, I don't think. I really wanted to get all the compost and stuff in September, and for various reasons it just didn't arrive. And it really would have been a lot better if we could have done that. This is the top end of our original plot with the new plum tree there. This is where I had squash plants that more or less covered the ground. The thing is, there's brambles up here because it's the top end of the allotment, and there were masses of brambles. There's one. And they're impossible to get all the roots out, so you have to keep on top of them, you really do. We're going to have a go at this. All around the plum tree we did put the green waste compost, so it should be possible to rake it over, except for these perennial weeds like the nettles that will have roots, and the grasses and the brambles, which is practically all there is here. So a lot of plucking by hand, I think, plucking and pruning, because if you keep pruning these brambles and things, then they can't come back because they need sunlight to grow. But I can't dig a lot around where I planted the plum tree anyway. This is one way to cope with weeds. You make a pile of all the stuff that you've dug up. Nothing can grow under this lot. So if we leave it there for a while, and then maybe move it on a bit, that'll help to stop the unwanted plants from growing. There's the little apple tree, and behind that again there's a huge amount of bramble that we really need to just snip off down to ground level and pull out the grass and nettles. See these clods where the potatoes were? The ground has been so hard and we didn't really dig it before we put the potatoes in, and it's been so dry for the last couple of months. We've only had little showers of rain here and there. If we put mulch on top of this with no cardboard, probably the little lumps will show through. That's the advantage of the cardboard, it flattens it out. But on the other hand, we have to be practical. It's about time and it's about getting it done. So here's the potato bed. I've just barrowed some heaps of mushroom compost on. All I have to do now is rake it out. So that's the potato bed, practically covered. The potatoes went as far as where the cabbages are. It was the only place I could plant them, so I put them in after the potatoes came up. But the rest of it is now ready for overwintering and for planting next spring. Of course, we've got rather rough edges here. I think I might have to dig out this bit of extra grass on the corner because it's encroaching. This is one of the problems of keeping grass paths, is it just keeps coming back. But if we don't keep the grass paths, we're going to have to cover it all with bark, and maybe we will eventually, once we've got the vegetable patches under control. See, the grass comes out of here quite easily because this is the green waste compost. It was quite thick here, so they can't get a foothold. This is our new toy. It's like a tiny little baby flamethrower, and it burns the weeds 1 inch at a time. We tried to burn a boundary marker to show where our lawn was going to be. It was going to start here and end where our bonfires were. You can't see the bonfires really. And where the grass has been trimmed and it's all little dry bits, it does tend to flare up, so it's not as slow as it would seem to be. Of course, the problem with fire is you do have to be careful it doesn't get out of control, and you can't leave it burning, and there's the smoke nuisance, but it's fun to play with. Look at these Brussels sprout buds. I'm astonished that they've grown so much. Okay, so they're squashy, but they've got time to fill out as long as we get a bit more sun between now and Christmas. This cabbage has been eaten by something. It's just munched around the leaves. I don't think it's slugs or snails. We've got masses of pellets around there, and it can't be birds because it's under the net here. So I've no idea what could have done that. If anybody has any ideas, do let me know. The thing about the no-dig method is that it does save work, but only if you keep on top of it. You've got to keep the mulch going. I think really we haven't got it going enough yet. There are parts of this allotment where we have mulch and you can just rake it over, but you do have to keep pulling the weeds up as well. If you leave the weeds for a season, then your mulch disappears under the weeds. But it does save the digging, it really does, so I think it's worth persisting with. We'll see how we go. Anyway, see you next time, bye.